G'day everybody, how's it going out there? Well, currently, recent news around a particular social media site has taken the furry fandom by storm, and it has to do with the social media site of Twitter. Now, the story around Twitter is not technically furry in and of itself, but furries have adapted Twitter as one of their main social media hubs. And one of the big reasons that Twitter has become a main social media hub for the furry fandom is because of its simple, quick, and also it's push with anonymity, right? Basically, you can have a pseudonym on that site, and you can use that pseudonym without fear of retaliation by the site owners. Unlike other social media sites such as Facebook or other such things, which require you utilize your real name that was given to you by the state and your parents, you can instead on Twitter use a character, play as a character, you do what you wish to do, and be more creative with the space rather than having to conform to being, your real life self and nothing else on social media, on such as Facebook. So that's why when it comes to which social media platforms furries prefer, they usually like ones where they can play their character and allow themselves to be themselves without having to worry about prying eyes trying to coerce them by using their real names and such things. So that being said, now that we've established why Twitter is such a big deal among furries, we could talk about the big story that has kind of shaken the furry fandom, and that is a billionaire by the name of Elon Musk has agreed to purchase with the board Twitter for $43 to $44 billion. And so that's kind of a big news story. There's a lot of furries who are social politically against billionaires owning everything, and of course this just follows against that grain. But at the end of the day, we can talk about a similar situation and why I think that me personally, I would criticize such a big purchase. As you can see, the story is there. Elon Musk acquires Twitter for roughly $44 billion, and that's one of the most read articles. But the one I'm highlighting here is one that happened back in 2019 when Tumblr was bought for $3 million 5 years after it was bought for $1.1 billion. So for those of you unfamiliar with what happened with Tumblr, is that Tumblr, like Twitter, it was used, I think, by a lot of furries, and it was also used by a lot of people who are into adult things, right? So you had an adult side of Tumblr, you had a safe for work side of Tumblr. And one of the first things that happened after Tumblr was acquired for $1.1 billion is that I believe it was Yahoo. I don't think they mentioned that here. But basically, when Tumblr was purchased for $1.1 billion, what ended up happening is that Tumblr was given new terms of service. And those new terms of service was pretty much, trying to cleanse, as it were, trying to change some aspects of Tumblr. Basically, it got rid of sharing of pornography, certain adult aspects of things. So they were trying to clean house. And what happened is that as they tried to clean and change Tumblr from what it was, basically Tumblr shifted so much that a lot of the user base just up and left and went for the newer social media sites. And so after that 5 years of exodus, WordPress basically just bought the basically at that point fledgling thing of Tumblr. Some folks have mentioned Tumblr as an alternative to Twitter in the coming days. Everybody has given their alternative to Twitter as Elon Musk has come in and bought it up. In my mind, I don't see, as far as what desire Elon Musk has with Twitter, one can only speculate. But I will say this. If Elon Musk decides to change Twitter from what it is and wants to buy it in order to change it to fit what he wants out of it, and the people who run the site and the people who are the site, who are the users and the content creators, who are people in the fandom and other such things, if he decides to push it and make it so that it is something that it was not once designed to be, people are just going to leave. Similar to what happened to Tumblr. So, as always, what is, like, we have, like, it's not going to happen tomorrow. Like, the dystopian future that a lot of furries fear will come from Elon Musk. It's not going to happen tomorrow. If you're worried that it's going to happen, take an idea as to like which site that you guys want to make an exit plan towards and start building content there. Prepare for the worst, hope for the best. Because here's the thing. You as furries and we as furries might be freaking out about this whole ordeal, about Elon Musk coming in and buying this thing for $44 billion. But in reality, the real person who should be freaking out here is Elon Musk. And I just highlighted why he should be the one freaking out about this. Because if he does to Twitter what Yahoo did to Tumblr, he is going to basically be done as a billionaire. Like he's going to have to hang up his billionaire coat, in essence. And he will have done himself in. Like a silly Disney villain, he will have been the hand that basically ended his own stipulation. Because here's the thing. When it comes to social media, they're a dime a dozen. If you were to give if you were to give a group of furries, like a small 3-team group of furries or something, who have technical skills and know-how, if you were to give them $1 million, they can make you a site better than Twitter. I guarantee you that. The fact that he would buy Twitter for $44 billion just to me signifies he doesn't understand what the value of Twitter is. The value of Twitter are the people who get on every day and the people who look at the content and the people who provide content for one another. And this is going to be my critique of that whole situation. I think that Elon Musk doesn't understand what he bought into. I don't think he does. And I think he did it for, maybe he did it because, hey, he can't get banned from Twitter now because he owns the platform, right? And maybe he's gonna do this whole passive aggressive thing with people on the left wing where he says, well, it's their private institution, they should be able to ban whoever they want. And then he's gonna be like, haha, but I own the institution now, so now I can ban whoever I want. And he's gonna do, if he does go down that path, basically it'll be a $44 billion I told you so, and he's just going to lose a bunch of money. So I don't think that would be a reasonable approach for him to do. And if he does do it, then I guess it's his money to burn. So at the end of the day, I'm going to pretend as if Twitter is still Twitter. I'm not going to pay attention to who is the lead dog on it. I'm going to treat Elon Musk the same way I treat Elon Musk as I always have, just as I've always treated Kathy Wood. I'm the same thing when I was critical of how she was trading things and the thing of the matter is that when you're dancing on the surface level, you're forgetting the undercurrent, right? Websites and social media sites are a dime a dozen. People shift from one thing to another. The whims of the people and the masses are incalculable. If you think you can put a price on them, they'll just move to someplace less expensive. You cannot buy people. You cannot buy what makes Twitter valuable. It is the content creators, it is the users that make Twitter have apparent value. And if you forget that, then you will lose any sense of owning anything, because the people will just leave and you will own a hollow husk. The internet is flexible. Furries have been down this road before. We were in LiveJournal. Russia bought up LiveJournal, and as time went on, as Twitter started to take more roots, furries started to move on to Twitter in the early 2010s. And so maybe this was the decade of Twitter, and maybe there's going to be another site after that. Maybe it's Mastodon, maybe just furries just go back to furry-owned websites like Fur Affinity, So Furry, etc. Who knows? But as long as we keep in touch and as long as we find ways to get together, it's just ones and zeros over the tubes of the internet. Twitter's just a bird. So don't worry about it that much. Furries and us furries don't have too much to lose on this Elon Musk deal. The one person who has a lot to lose and the one person who has the most to lose is the person who bought a social media site for billions of dollars, especially if they don't learn from the problems and the issues that happened in the past. For Twitter, may be the next thing that tumbles. Thank you very much for watching. Kick the like, kick the subscribe button, kick a comment in the comment section, and we'll see you again next time. Thank you.